Hi everyone, so today I'm here with my review of Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Matson. So this was actually a book that I wasn't planning on reading this month, but I actually got the audiobook of this one free from Audible because they have this thing where if you sign up the first time you get a book free. So I thought, why not try something new, and since it's free it won't cost me anything, and if I don't enjoy it I won't have wasted any money. But I actually really did enjoy listening to an audiobook. I was able to go out, do some shopping, tidy and some other general stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do if I was holding a book in my hands. So I really enjoyed that experience. So Amy and Roger's Epic Detour is about a girl called Amy whose father died in a car crash that Amy completely blames herself for. So her mother says that her family is moving to Connecticut, but her brother ends up being taken to rehab in North Carolina, I think it was. I don't remember if that's the right state, so don't quote me on that. And Amy left in the house herself for the time being until she can get to Connecticut with her mum. So Amy's mother realises that she needs her car, so she plans a road trip for Amy to take, and she arranges for Amy's old friend Roger, who she hasn't seen in years, to drive her to Connecticut. But Amy and Roger decide to ignore the road plan that Amy's mother has planned and take a small detour so that they can take the scenic route. So I absolutely adored this story. I really enjoyed listening to Susie Jackson, who is the narrator, tell me the story. When I was listening to it I could just picture everything happening like a movie in my head, and I really enjoyed that experience. Each character had their own distinct voice, so you knew exactly who was talking. Even if there were two guys talking, you could tell the difference between them, and it was just amazing. So this is like a cute love story, but it's got some deeper storylines intertwined, like Amy coming to terms with her father's death, trying to rediscover herself, and her relationships with her mother and her twin brother Charlie. So this is by far the best road trip book I have ever read. I've only read a couple I think, but this one was just so much better than the other ones I've read. I really loved discovering America along with Amy and Roger because it's something I don't think I will ever get to do in my life. So I really loved seeing the interesting facts that Amy was writing down about each state, about how big it was, the state motto or whatever it is, and just some really interesting and weird facts that I would never have known otherwise. I really enjoyed Amy's development in this book. At the start of the book she was this really shy, reserved girl who completely blamed herself for her father's death and just wanted to be on her own. And as the book went on she started to gain more confidence, she started to come out of her shell and become the person that she used to be before the accident, but slightly different because of everything that had happened to her. She just grew into such a fantastic character, and it was all because of Roger. And I knew the second that we met Roger that I was going to love him. He was such a sweet, funny, charming character. He always knew how to cheer Amy up. The sock sliding scene in Walmart will be one of my favourite scenes forever now because it just made me smile, and it made me fall in love with Roger even more because he's just such an amazing character. So we got to see Amy dealing with the relationships with her mum and her twin brother Charlie. Amy and her mum don't have a very good relationship. Amy thinks that her mum always preferred her brother over her, and they have sort of a strange relationship, and her and Charlie had kind of grown apart, and Charlie was hanging out with sort of the wrong kind of people and getting himself into trouble. So it's dealing with patching up their relationships and yeah, basically getting everything back on track. So I loved Amy and Roger's relationship. It was just amazing. I love how close they became on the road trip. I mean, it's kind of hard not to be when you're stuck in a car with someone for that long, but the development in their relationship was just amazing. They grew to know each other so well, and I was impatiently waiting for the romance to start between them because they just seemed so perfect for each other. I honestly didn't care that it developed into a romance in a short space of time because I got so sucked into their story and so sucked into how they felt about each other. So I just disregarded the fact that they kind of got together in a very short space of time because I don't really care. They were just so cute together and they helped each other a hell of a lot. The other thing I really loved about this book was Roger's playlists. Now since I didn't have the actual book to look at the playlists, I didn't really get to look up the songs that were on them because that's something I would really have loved to have done. So I probably will be picking up a physical copy of this book eventually because that is something that I do want to do. Now that I actually have the audiobook, I will probably listen to this a hell of a lot because it is a story that I will never get tired of hearing. If you haven't read this book yet, I definitely recommend it. It's such an amazing contemporary novel and it will be one that I reread over and over again. So if you haven't guessed already, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because it was such an amazing story and the most epic detour ever. So that was my review of Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I will see you guys later. Bye everyone!